Hello and welcome to a rather rainy Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'm here at what is probably a Pennsylvania stalwart, Sheetz, and I'm here at the Electrify America charging station to discuss something that I've wanted to talk about for quite a while, and that is the difference between a kilowatt and a kilowatt hour. Now, I have in my hand here a battery. This is from my lawnmower. It's 40 volt, and as you see on it as well, it says that it is 4 amp hours. Now, with the wattage, just multiply the volts by the amps and you get the watts. So in this case, 40 multiplied by 4 is 160. That's 160 watt hours, or 0.160 kilowatt hours. Kilo just means 1,000. Kilogram, kilometer, kilowatt, 1,000 of each. That's all that means. I'm just going to put this on the floor now. So what's the difference? When you're at the charger, you'll notice that the labels have either 150, 350 kilowatts. That's because you're receiving up to 1,000 volts at 350 amps maximum. Multiply those together, 1,000 by 350, and you get 350,000 watts, or 350 kilowatts. That's going in. But your battery may be 75, 77.4, 80, 100 and something kilowatt hours. That's because, look, let me describe it this way. You're already used to having a system of measurement where, or rather two systems of measurement, where one of them uses hour and one of them doesn't. You know that distances are in miles or kilometers, and you know that if you're going between two places along that distance, you'll be traveling at miles per hour or kilometers per hour. So in that case, hour means speed. Well, in the case of the chargers behind me, when you're charging, kilowatts is the speed at which you're putting energy into the battery, but the hour doesn't mean the speed. The hour means storage. Just remember that. For battery capacity, hour means storage. So that just makes me think, how many of those batteries do I need to make my own EV? Turns out I need a few hundred batteries, and so do the car companies. Sort of. There will be numbers, but not a test afterwards, so just relax and enjoy the ride. For my homemade car example with zero experience in anything like this, I'll be using the slightly bigger 8 amp hour version of the battery. Still at 40 volts, they just have twice the number of cells inside them than the one I showed earlier, and twice the electrical charge. I could tell you all about electrical charge and amp hours and how they're a measurement, but instead of telling you, here's 5 seconds of text in a rather fetching font explaining what it is, accompanied by some very loud acid house music. I'll need 240 of these chunky boys, and I want faster charging, so I'm going for an 800 volt setup instead of 400 volts. Now, I'm guessing most of you watching this have had zero experience building an EV2, so let me start by stressing that nobody should try this at home. And before I begin wiring anything to anything, I need a quick reminder to myself in how to wire hundreds of batteries together. There are two ways to do this, in series or in parallel, and I will need to do both. Batteries wired in series are connected end to end with the positive terminal of one battery connected to the negative terminal of the next battery. The voltage of the batteries gets added together with the amperage, the amps, also called the current, staying the same. Now, if I connect 20 of these 40 volt chunky boys together in a row, that's my 800 volts at 8 amp hours. Now, I'll call each of these groups of 20 power packs a module. I can then connect these dozen modules that I've made out of the 240 batteries in parallel, so that all the positive terminals of the modules are connected together and all the negative terminals are connected together. The total voltage would then stay the same at 800 volts. This time, it's the current that's added together. 12 modules at 8 amp hours, that's 96 amp hours. Now, multiply those two together, 800 volts, 96 amp hours, That's a fast charging behemoth of a 76.8 kilowatt hour battery pack. But let me stress this again, when I say don't try this at home, I mean don't. Don't go cannibalizing the innards of any number of rechargeable battery packs because you saw it on the YouTube video. At all, don't go to someone else's home and try this either. All of this is a thought experiment dealing with electricity, nothing more. I haven't even factored in battery management systems, a cooling system to deal with 240 lawnmower batteries running in an enclosed space, or having a way that can charge on a DC fast charger, how that will be able to communicate with this car. It's very similar to the current battery tech used by car companies like Hyundai, Kia and Genesis in their eGMP platform. They have 77.4 kilowatt batteries using 384 cells. First grouped as 12 battery pouches in one module, and then 32 make up the whole battery pack. Each pouch is just over 8 amp hours at 25 volts. That comes to a shade over 200 watt hours per pouch. Wired in parallel first to keep the voltage the same but increase the amp hours, it makes each module 25 volts at 96 3/4 amp hours, just under 2.42 kilowatt hours. Then each of these modules is wired in series, 25 volts multiplied by the 32 modules to get the 800 volts at the 96.75 amp hours. And that's the 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack of the eGMP platform. Now that's how I definitely not use the guts of 240 battery packs bought in retail to make an EV. I recommend people just buy an EV from one of the car companies, but it does show that the rechargeable battery in your lawnmower and the one in an electric car or truck are basically the same thing. There's just a lot more of it in the car or truck. Anyway, so that's me from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Thanks very much. Happy travels. Until next time.